Famous physicist Brian Cox debunks the Big Bang Theory with science creation story and his theory of ripples of energy that then became inflated. Now, Brian Cox delivered a superb science creation story. He looked to crack the mystery of the origins of the universe and existence. The physicist transformed his field of science in the 21st century into something accessible to everyone. And this month he presented a cutting-edge series, Universe. This is where everything begins and ends, in which he attempts to make sense of and lay bare the origins of our existence. And to do this, Professor Cox embarked on a voyage searching for how the universe came to be. He was looking at various space missions that have brought us closer to the answer, like the Hubble Space Telescope, which has offered scientists to look into our past. The prevailing cosmological model explaining the existence of the observable universe from the earliest known periods through today is known as the Big Bang Theory. Its early conception was suggested by a Belgian priest named Georges Lemaitre in the 1920s. His theory said that the universe began from a single primordial atom. And in the years since then, scientists have built on Lemaitre's theory, something that is today widely accepted to be the event behind our origins. But according to Professor Cox, there was a time before the Big Bang, a time in which the universe did in fact exist, and before this time there was no matter at all. All that existed was space-time and an ocean of energy, almost still but a gently rippling energy. Professor Cox said, "We should picture this place as a near-still ocean of energy, filling the void." This sounds to me like it's ether, doesn't it? Doesn't it sound like ether to you? Something filling the void. And this is what the ancients believed was filling the void of the universe. Ether, which was basically energy, an electric energy, an electric support universe. My Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box. So before this time, there was no matter at all. All that existed was space-time in an ocean of energy, almost still but gently rippling. Cox said we should picture this place as a near-still ocean of energy filling the void. While the place had no structures, the energy affected space, causing it to stretch an unimaginably violent expansion known as inflation. And with the origins of the universe in tow, Professor Cox flipped the Bible creation story to tell what he coined the science creation story. He said, in the beginning there was an ocean of energy that drove a rapid expansion of space known as inflation. There were ripples in the ocean. As inflation ended, the ocean of energy was converted into matter, the Big Bang, he said. He said, and the pattern of the ripples was imprinted into our universe as regions of slightly different density in the hydrogen and helium gas that formed shortly after the Big Bang. The denser regions, he says, of gas collapsed to form the first stars and the first galaxies, and 9 billion years later, a new star formed in the Milky Way, our sun. The star was joined by 8 planets, including Earth, and nearly 13.8 billion years after that, it all began. We emerged blinking into the light. Last year, Sir Roger Penrose argued a similar theory for the beginnings of the universe as he received his Nobel Prize for physics. And winning for his work proving that black holes do exist, he said he had found 6 warm points in the sky, which he called Hawking points, after the late physicist Stephen Hawking, who theorized that black holes leak radiation and eventually evaporate away entirely. These points, he said, were around 8 times the diameter of our moon. The time scale for the evaporation of the black holes is on a huge scale, potentially longer than the age of our universe, making them impossible to detect. But Sir Roger believes that dead black holes from earlier universes or eons are observable now. If this is true, then Professor Hawking's theories and life's work will be proven correct. Sir Roger says, I claim that there is observation of Hawking radiation. The Big Bang was not the beginning, he said. There was something before the Big Bang, and that something is what we all have in our future. We have a universe that expands and expands, and all mass decays away, and in this crazy theory of mine, that remote future becomes the Big Bang of another eon. He says, so our Big Bang began with something which was the remote future of a previous eon, and there would have been similar black holes evaporating away via Hawking evaporation, and they would produce these points in the sky that I call Hawking points. We are seeing them. These points are about 8 times the diameter of the moon and are slightly warmed up regions, he said. So that's the science behind this. There was energy before the inflation of the matter. This is by Joel Day on Express UK. Please leave your comments and thank you for your support.